Good evening, everyone, and thank you for turning in to Cat's Cauldron once again. We appreciate your listening, and tonight we're going to discuss Mmiw. Most of you have probably never heard of what Mmiw is. It's murdered, missing Indigenous women. So with that being said, we're going to begin, and I hope you enjoy this segment. Missing murdered Indigenous women, and I'm going to give you some statistics. Just in approximately 71 cities, and this was several years ago, so this is a little outdated, but it breaks it down a little bit, and I wanted to be able to break it down to basically how they quote-unquote classify this. So it says that 500 out of 506 cases were identified across 71 selected urban cities, 128 cases of missing Indigenous women. They had 280 that were cases of murdered Indigenous women. 98 were cases of unknown status. 29 is the median age of the women that were taken or abducted, murdered, or still missing. So that's the average age. That doesn't mean that's what it is, because they are taking little girls as well, from teens down. So it's an epidemic that has gotten very little awareness on. The missing and murdered Indigenous women human rights crisis disproportionately affects Indigenous women in Canada and the United States, notably those in the Native American communities. What is Mmiw? A red hand, to move it has a symbol, and it's a red hand over the mouth, something similar to this. And it has become a symbol of a growing movement. The Murdered and Missing Indigenous Women movement stands for all the missing sisters whose voices are not heard. It stands for the silence of a media and law enforcement in the midst of this crisis. The powerful image of a red hand print has come to symbolize the missing and murdered Indigenous women movement as a way to represent the thousands of women who have been silenced beyond politics and detective work. The handprint has found its way into art and fashion as a way to raise awareness. The powerful image of a red handprint has brought the Mmiw epidemic to the forefront. One of the more striking creations is a new line from Sky Eagle Collective designed by a creative director, Dante Bis-Grayson of the Osage Nation. He has made a line of digitally printed chiffon ribbon skirts using modern technology and strong graphic imagery with traditional designs. First, stay with my new mouth, guys. What made him want to create a line focused on Mmiw? Well, Bis Grayson says it all started when his daughter was born, Ella Sky Eagle. And he has a studio that is in Nevada. I started my journey into art when I was very young in Santa Fe, New Mexico, where I have taken many awards at the SWAIA Indian Market and have artwork in private and museum collectives. After multiple tours overseas in Iraq, Kuwait, Afghanistan, and Italy, I returned home with many traumatic incidents locked deep inside my heart and my soul. He added, I needed to release. I needed therapy. So I opened my art and fashion studios. I paint. I write poetry. I sculpt, create art installations, and I am a fashion designer. During the pandemic lockdown, he began to look for more outlets. I began to design works that I hope inspire others, give them strength, pride, hope, empowerment, and resilience. Bis Grayson said, this is when the Sky Eagle collection was born. The idea is to create awareness for this issue in hope that action can occur. If I am able to support advocacy groups and get more awareness for this issue via my artwork and fashion, then I am helping in my own way to mitigate this particular issue. Made in limited edition batches, the skirts come in red, black, yellow, or turquoise, colors that honor the 4 directions and native palettes. A large handprint graces the front, white silk, ribbons run across the bottom, and crosses the sides. I have donated many shirts to individuals and advocacy groups to help them on their journeys, Bis Grayson said. Recently, one of the outcomes of this project is the 400 Ribbon Skirt Project. This project is to design 400 ribbon skirts and donate all of these to battered women's shelters on the reservations in the U.S. and Canada. The idea is to create medicine bundles with skirts, and the hope is that these bundles give good medicine to the recipient. He started the design after researching and learning more about the Mmiw epidemic. The red hand is a very powerful image, and in my tribe, we have used this symbol in our ribbon work and blankets. The connection of the Mmiw and the red hand has a connection to the spirit, and I try to convey this strength in any of my designs, he said. The impact and reaction has been immediate. Many collectors have emailed me and talked to me and said my ribbon skirts bring them hope and are good medicine for them. Bis Grayson explains, many of whom were directly impacted by Mmiw and victims themselves. The goal of the Sky Eagle collection is to bring a greater awareness to this issue and hopefully action. As of today, the National Crime Information has reported 5,712 cases of missing American Indian and Alaskan Native women and girls. Strikingly, the U.S. Department of Justice Missing Persons Database has only reported 116 cases. So you ask, how can I support Mmiw? Contact CONCATCT at symbol mmiwusa.org or message their Facebook https //mmiwusa.org. Other ways to help. Something you can do that doesn't cost you anything. Educate. We have to learn more about the MMIW movement. Number 2, use your voice. Each of our voices carries a magnificent power. Number 3, support, not shame. Remember that no one life is more or less valuable than any other. And 4, practice self-care. Some of you are probably very shocked by some of these statistics, but it's very real. And unfortunately, you see very little in the news about it. So I wanted to take a moment to pick up something that I could actually use my voice as well to support them. So if you have any questions, need additional resources for this, please email me at Bullock, BULLOCK 007 @gmail.com. And I'm happy to answer any questions. If you have something that you would like to hear me speak on or would like me to dig into and research a little bit for you and then speak on it, I'm happy to do so too. Just email me there. Thank you all. I appreciate you listening tonight and have a good evening.